For the glove, of course, the first thing you want to do is fill out the burn assessment chart. Next, you want to look at the styles of gloves that you have to choose from. We have the mitten, which we rarely use actually, the gauntlet, the open glove, and the closed glove. The closed glove is mainly for situations where a patient has edema or is burned right through their fingertips. We most often use the open glove style because even with some swelling we can still do an open glove, and the value of it is they retain their dexterity. Now, to measure the glove, of course you want to fill out the details that you want, whether you want a dorsal zip or a palmar, and of course you want to try and place the zip where the patient's not burned if possible. If they are burned everywhere and you can't avoid it, then you want to be sure you line the zipper and choose the color, and to remember that all the lengths are included. That elastic is included in the length of the glove. So now we'll start to measure our glove, and here is a friendly hand that came for me to measure. So the important thing is positioning. You need your middle finger lined up with the center line on the page. You need your ulnar head lined up with the corresponding line on the bottom of the page. And you want to make a mark right at your ulnar head lined up with this bottom line. And then you want to make a mark about 1 3/4 inches above that mark. And that's our standard ending for a glove. So if you don't say anything about length, this is where we're always going to end our glove. You want the thumb at about 45 degrees, and you want the pinky in as opposed to out. And these little things make a difference. If you bring the pinky out, you're raising the web. If you bring it too far in, you're lowering the web too much. You just want it in a natural stance, not too much in or out. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is trace the hand. So to trace the hand, we use a refill pen. That gives you a better tracing. And the important thing is to hold the tracing pen straight up and down as you go along the contour of the fingers, excluding the nails. And the important thing with going down into the webs of the finger is that you just touch the webs, but you do not press into them. You want to get the exact contour of the finger webs without altering them in any way. And I always go back and look straight from above my hand down at the hand and just check my finger webs that I did indeed trace them to the appropriate point. The next thing you want to do with the hand is to mark where you want to end the fingers while the hand is still on your tracing. And to do that, you're going to make a mark on the finger and on the tracing. Now, if you end the finger long, which we'll do in the case of the index finger, you mark where you want the finger to end. So this is long, but you're going to take your circumference at the nail bed base. You never go higher than here to take the circumference, and that's just for our computer software. That's the way it generates the finger, is by taking the circumference here. So any length you make longer than the nail bed base, you still take the circumference right here. If you're going to end the finger shorter, for instance here, then you do take the circumference right where you've made your mark. And of course you want to transfer that mark onto your tracing. I didn't mark the finger right here because it's obvious, the middle of the nail bed. We try to end fingers distal to the PIP or proximal to the DIP when we're doing it mid-finger. we try not to go proximal to the PIP because that can tend to make the glove right into the webs, although we will do it where needed and then put soft gussets in to accommodate for that. So this finger I'm going to end right about here. And then this finger I'm going to make long again, just for the sake of teaching. I do try to keep the fingers of the hand fairly symmetrical in how I end them where possible. That tends to feel more comfortable on the person. The thumb we try to always keep long. So again, I'm going to end it long, but I will be taking my circumference at the nail bed base. The reason we try to keep our thumbs long is because the thumb can tend to ride into the web, and if it's longer, that will help to hold it up and make it less prone to riding down into the web. So now you've got your tracing and you've got your fingers marked for taking lengths. One other thing to keep in mind is if you do want to do a closed glove, the way you would mark for that is a line straight up and down coming out of the top of the finger. Okay, so now we will take our circumferences. Okay, so we'll start with the thumb. When I take the thumb circumference, I put my finger right at the base of the thumb on the bone. I come around and take my circumference. Write it down nice and big and dark so we can see it when you fax it to us. And again, I'm ending my thumb long, so I'm taking my circumference at the nail bed base. And we have 2. Okay, and continuing along, I'm taking my circumference at the base of the finger. Now I do check the PIPs. If they are larger than my base measurement, I do write them in, and we'll consider that in drafting. Now again, I ended this finger long, so I'm not taking the circumference where I ended it long, but at the nail bed base, which is 1 5/8. Okay, continuing down through the fingers. And a note about tension. When you're measuring anywhere on the body, the way to become a good measurer is to learn to have consistent tension. You don't want to pull it tighter in some instances and looser in other instances. You want to always have the same tension. I'll adjust things, or we will, when we're drafting. But if you always have the same tension, that really helps us. And on through the rest of the hand. Now the next thing after you've gotten the fingers is to check your MCPs. We take our MCP measurement going right across the knuckles as well as we can, keeping it as straight as we can on the finger. And we put that measurement out here, and our placement for measurements is very specific because after you send us your glove chart, we are putting a lot of measurements right in here in these spaces and all through here, because we're going to get the lengths for you after we receive your order to draft the glove. So it's important if this space can be left clear as well as all in here. Okay. So now I'm going to come and get the wrist measurement. Okay, and the 1 3/4 above the wrist. And these measures for the wrist and the 1 3/4 above the wrist are written out here on this side, and as well that's for a particular reason, because this is going to have measures all in here. Once we receive it from you, we're going to add length measures all in here, so we need this space open. So those are the basic measures for the glove.